I love it. Well, hi, I'm Nicole Mattox. Yeah, I mean, I'm an actress based in Los Angeles who has fallen into these little thing called vertical series and has taken over my entire life in the best way possible. So, is the best way to introduce myself, I think.
That's very cool.
I'm from Texas.
So,
As long as I can remember. I think my mom put me in a play when I was 5 years old, 5 or 6, something like that. And she always talks about too that the second she saw me on stage, it was like I lit up. Everything in me was like, this, I need to be telling stories. This is where I belong. I thought I was going to be doing musicals. I thought Broadway was going to call my name. And that dream got shattered so quickly when I like growing out of not being able to sing became not cute anymore. So I heard myself sing and decided, oh, hun, like maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I need to reevaluate. But I still wanted to tell stories and I still wanted to be a part of the world of just like going into these wacky circumstances and living another life. But then I ended up doing producing. I went to school for producing for a while and stopped acting throughout all of college and thought I was going to go that route because I thought it was safer. And then I just, after a year, was like, nope, I need to be in it. I need to be living these stories. Just organizing them and watching somebody else live it out wasn't for me. Yeah. So yeah, then I just got back into it and moved to LA in 2021, something like that. And then Verticals came around 2023. And thank goodness. I feel like I've always had like a healthy nerve, and I'll still get that sometimes going into a new set and a new character and everything. I'll have like a healthy amount of nerves in a sense of just, I hope to do this justice, but it's never been a paralyzing, I'm terrified. And my mom's a news anchor also. So I did grow up around cameras, totally different aspect of things. But still like an element of performing. So I feel like that's just always been very comfortable for me, and storytelling in its own way. Just hers is more fact based and ours is more, emotion based. Yeah. But yeah, so that's been super helpful. And I can't pinpoint one moment in particular, but I just remember always just like wanting to live out things that I don't get to in my life. Like whether it was, I remember I did Wizard of Oz and it was, I get to talk to this talking lion. Like it was like those little things where I was just like, I get to use my imagination and it's fostered and it's encouraged and it's these cool, fun things. So I think that for me, and to this day still, that's like the thing that's always drawn me into acting is this is something so different. I'll never get to live this experience in real life. Dance was my main thing, and then I also played tennis, and I was also in the marching band, so I was not Miss Cool Girl growing up. At all. I played clarinet very competitively. I was second chair in state 2 years in a row. Yes, clarinet. But I did also dance, and yeah, so I was anything with music, I feel like I really gravitated to. But then I played tennis randomly, really like 3 years, weird little side quest there. But that was the one sport I really. That's from like 6th to 8th grade though. So it was like I really went to the back of my brain and was like tried to remember anything I could. Which was fun. It was honestly, I mean, it was very like friendly competition. And it was I was first chair in my school. And then in all of the state of Texas, I was second chair. So, and I did lose to the same girl both years in a row that I got second chair to. So it was kind of like it was us. But it was just, I mean, it was fun. It was competition. And, we were all at that level doing it because we enjoyed doing it. And it wasn't, obviously, we're not doing it to be cool. We're not trying to have any sort of like titles, so that I think helps in the aspect of just like being friendly about it because it's clarinet. It's like my fun fact too, because it's just, people don't expect it, I feel like usually. But yeah, marching band, it is a lot of coordination. It's a lot of practice. It's a lot of sweating because I am from Texas. So, and we're doing this outside in Texas heat in summer. So, yeah, it's a lot. And you're thinking, you're having the music memorized, you're marching, you have the choreography. It's more than you would think, but it's doable. It's manageable. It is the multitasking, and that is something that like I personally enjoy. And that's why any kind of activity or sport or anything I've ever done, it's anything that is your brain's firing on all cylinders and you're thinking about multiple things. And I do feel like that's why I do thrive in verticals too, that it's because it is so much more than just acting. How you get into this whole world, it is crazy. So I started doing just kind of like indie movies, short films, the typical horizontal things. Yeah. I started in that. I got an agent. And then he actually, I think it was him or it might have been my friend. I knew somebody working on this vertical, and my agent had, I think, reached out to me and said, hey, there's this thing. I don't really know what it is. It's an acting job. They need you for one day. Get in and out. If you want to do it, you can. Like, your schedule's open this day. If not, I don't really know what it is anyways. And I was like, yeah, well, sure. Why not? I don't care what it is. Work, deal. And I go there, and it was like, oh, this is a whole thing. Like, it's a big crew, and it's people who are each doing their own jobs and actual acting and that kind of thing. So I was like, oh. And then I told my agent, I was like, I'm kind of interested in this, and like, I know we don't know what this is or where this is gonna go, but I'd rather be doing these than any other survival job or anything like that. Nice. So yeah, I'll do this. I auditioned for a lead like the next week, booked that, and then just kind of kept going since. Just had fun. And I was a day player on. That was the one that I just jumped in, and it opened my eyes to verticals. And then the first lead was The Unwanted Bride of Atticus Fawn. And at the time, I was like, that's a crazy name. And now I'm like, well, that was a very There were periods of break there. After my first one, that one was honestly the first lead I ever did. It was, I think he was that production company's one of their first ones. And nobody really knew how to do verticals yet. So it was very chaotic on set, and it was a lot of work, a lot of overtime, everybody literally putting everything that they had into it. And so I was just exhausted and started working on a feature film right after that. So I took probably 3 months off of verticals just in that aspect. Yeah. And then I came back into it, and it's been pretty consistent. There's been little month or two periods if I'm working on something else, or I went to Costa Rica for a few weeks at one point, things like that where I've taken off. But I've been so blessed to always have an influx of offers. And I know that it is still there, which is the most amazing thing. As an actor, I never thought I'd be able to say that. Supplemental thing? Absolutely. So for a while, I was bartending at different events around LA, which was very inconsistent. And you never know how much, like, what you're going to make, when you're going to get booked, and things like that. So then I fell into this online recruiting job, and it was a work from home, kind of make your own hours, just as long as you get your work done kind of job, which ended up being perfect for acting. Where I'd basically work with brands, and they would tell me they have this in-store activation. It was like the people at grocery stores who hand out samples of foods or drinks or things like that. And I would just find people to go work it. So I was just kind of a middleman thing, but it was fun. That job was the most supportive of my acting career of any other side hustle I've ever heard of. Honestly, the owner of it, her son's an actor, and she was very much like, go do your acting. Like, that's priority. We love you. We love your work. And they were amazing.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's the dream, isn't it? Someone who understands and is like, actually prioritize that. We know you'll come back and do it when you've got the time.
So lucky for that.
Okay. So obviously you started verticals early, 2023.
Yeah.
You're working through 2024. I'm going to come back to specific projects. I think I probably know the answer. When did it go crazy for you?
Yeah, when Breaking the Ice came out. Yeah. But when Unwanted Bride of Atticus Fawn came out, that one did really well too. So that one is when I started getting a lot of, not offers yet, but a lot of requests for auditions. And people started to, I was getting circulated a little bit. And then the success of Breaking the Ice was that was when everything took off to a whole other level. Oh, it was just another job, especially breaking the ice. I mean, and that was only like my third lead, I think. Or my fourth lead, something like that. Something early on. But yeah, I mean, we knew, when you have fun on a project, and when you click with your co-stars, which is 90% of the time, though, as you can tell. Everybody in this space that I've worked with, they're just good people. And I don't know how we've continued to get just good people that are consistently working, and it's the most deserved thing ever. But so that you get along with your people, when you can connect to a script a little bit more. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. That doesn't mean anybody's going to see it. What if this is one that doesn't get marketed for some reason? Or what if this is one that just maybe the first 5 episodes aren't the strongest part of the story, so people don't finish watching it and don't get to see the magic? Or you just never know. And no part of me expected it to be what it was at all. I didn't realize that was even possible for a vertical to hit the level of audience that this one did. But we had fun with it, and it is amazing, because I think that too was the first time that I've noticed people care about me as a person, as a human being, and not just like the character on their screen. And people wanted to know who I was and wanted to know what I was doing with my day, which for me, I was like, thank you. Like, why do you care what I'm doing? Like, who am I that people would be interested in what I'm doing day to day? And it was just such a surreal experience of people just wanting to chat and get to know me as a person. And so I think that that's the biggest benchmark for that one. I can't, if I think too hard about it, my brain just goes a little crazy, because like the numbers are just insane. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is then I've started noticing, and it's becoming more and more visible, is there's been like a clear line of like, it's basically Hollywood in the sense of you're going to make blockbuster shows or you're going to make an indie show. So it's like there are certain tropes and certain things and certain styles that feel like blockbuster, like this is the one that we want to hit numbers, and it's very clear with how they go about creating the show of, okay, this is one that they want to be a blockbuster hit. And then there are some shows where it's indie, and it's like they want to explore different genres and different themes and do more artsy shots and have grounded acting. And so it's kind of like, since Breaking the Ice, I do feel like people know there's more of a clear lane of like, there are 2 different ways to make a vertical, if that makes sense.
And in the way we
that too, I'm like, I'll do them all. I don't want to end up just doing one or the other. Because I do understand the importance of the ones that they hit all the tropes. They're cheesy. They're the thing. They're the fast food. They're what everybody just wants and feeds the soul a little bit, and is just cheesy. Obviously, I do enjoy the more artistic ones and the complicated and all of those things, just as an actor and as an artist. I enjoy those. And I also think they're important now that like bigger players in Hollywood are looking at verticals. And I think it's important to be like, okay, well, yes, we can do these cheesy things, but we can also do typical styles of things too. So I think they're both important. 1000%. You're like, I'm going to go back to that at the right time when I'm ready for it. And there were talks of doing a season 2 of that one at some point. I think it's just been a while now, and I don't know what happened to it, but I know the whole cast would go back. That was another one where we were all just got along so well on set, cast and crew too. And the director, Angela Liu, phenomenal. Yeah. I love her so much. And she put her whole heart and soul into that project, which is why I think it did do so well. She was like pulling in her own contacts for like sound mixing and for every like aspect of things. And everybody just worked together so cohesively for it. I know there was a writer on the script. I don't know if she specifically like from scratch wrote it or if she did a lot of just localization and translating things. But I know there was some specific singular person who helped write and develop the characters, which I feel like also shined through in the script and how much we had to play with and how much we could do with it. So that one was and I will always say that's one of my favorites because it was really special. It was really fun. That one was fun. It was really fun because I do like to play into like the feisty side of myself a lot because I feel like in real life it's rare that you get to actually like let that out, you know? So getting to play her and playing like a teenager who was feisty and angsty and trying to figure herself out, and it was fun and it was a challenge. And that's always something I'm looking for. I love getting to play somebody that I get to like dive into and doesn't necessarily come super easy. Having those girl talk moments, and those are some of my favorite scenes to film too, the girl talk moments. They're the best. And when you have just a well-written one that truly captures like the essence of going through something and having your girl there with you, like either being the one who's going to snap you to reality or being the one who's going to hype you up no matter what, or being the one you're going to cry into her arms. It's such a core part of life. And that's what some of my favorite scenes ever. It really is just living it. And it's a lot of it's the work at home and coming to set, just knowing exactly what situation I'm walking into and just being a human about it and not trying to force any specific reaction or any specific response and just kind of letting however it comes out come out. And I've been very blessed in working with a lot of directors and a lot of editors who will let me just kind of like at least do one take of just me being honest and how I feel that this situation would be. And then sometimes, you know, they'll be like, okay, well, we need to cheese this up. We need to make this a little bit more in people's face or, you know, whatever else. And then I'll do a take like that too. But a lot of times they'll let me at least do one how I feel is honest. And a lot of times they end up using that one, which is amazing. Hard. It is really hard. And that honestly, I will say is something that as I've done more, I've gotten a lot better at, because at first you know, when you're in that dark of a place, it takes a second, and then everybody else is just moving on around you. And so it is jarring and you're like, whoa, I'm horribly depressed. And everybody's now rushing me into hair and makeup, rushing me into my next outfit, and things move on. And honestly, it's truly just come to, as quickly as I'm now able to get myself into that depressed or grieving or whatever deep emotional state, I'm also pretty good now at getting myself into a happy state. And also it's so simple, but I've like gone back to the fact that like, okay, I'm living my dream. I'm doing what I love. I'm at the job I love to do. So it's not hard. Sometimes I'm like, even when I'm like, oh my God, my son has leukemia, like whatever the situation.
Yeah.
And then when I need to switch back, it's a lot of just like taking a second, taking a breath, grounding myself, being like, okay, you're Nicole, life is good, let's go. Physicality to a role, that's my favorite part. So I love that you pick up on that. That honestly means the world to me, because I genuinely love it. And I love getting to use my body. And for me, it is important to like live in the space as an actor. It's tough on a vertical because the frame's this big and you only have this much room to move a lot of times. But for me, it's important in like getting into a character, and like, it's the fun part. It's the thing that like separates you from them, and that extra added layer of it. And it keeps me awake on set. Gosh, I mean, all of so Champion's Hidden Secret, yeah, I had a blast because I was getting to play tennis. And I mean, at lunch, a lot of us, we'd just pick up our rackets and we'd just go play at lunch. We'd be running around all day, and we were outside, which was just like, there's something about just being in the sun and being with good people and just being goofy. So I had so much fun on that. On Freaky Exchange, we did one day. That was the boxing body swap one I did. Yeah. We had one day that was just all of the fight scenes, like in the ring, all of them. It was the most fun. Luna Saranova is a gem of a human being. I love her with my whole heart. And we were just like just beating each other up all day long, doing these fight choreos. And that was probably the most fun day on set I've had, because we were just goofing off, having fun. Like there was no real like intense lines we even had to do that day. It was just like choreography. We're going to fight. We're going to have fun. We were laughing. I got to spit blood up. It was awesome. And then Faded at First Sight, though, also there was a lot of physicality in that one and a lot of fights. And that was, I think, so early in my career too. I was just like magic of being there and with that group. And yeah, anytime I get to be physical, I love it. And I did fall quite a few times. So quite a few. But they also were really good about kind of like combing through the path that I was going to run, making sure there wasn't anything sticking out or any like tough rock. So if I do slip on a leaf or something, I mean, I'm still falling in the dirt, but it's not on anything that could act like really, really hurt me unless I fall the wrong way, which is always, it's always a possibility. But yeah, that was dangerous. But they took safety precautions. Love doing comedy. Rom-com is probably my favorite. Yes, it's fun. But a lot of times I do feel that I'm not necessarily thought of for comedic roles. And just in verticals, there aren't as many comedic as there are dramatic. And I love doing the drama too. Still fun. But it is nice when I get to break it up with a rom-com or something, cutesy and use a little bit of my natural personality a little bit more. I had the best time figuring that. And that honestly is probably the vertical I put one of the most work into, just because I started working on it and then I started realizing that I have to break down this script from my point of view and from the male lead's point of view, because sometimes I'm seeing the world from Leah's point of view. Sometimes I'm seeing the world from Gage's point of view. And so I just had to, it was kind of double the workload. And just figuring out, the point of view of each character changed everything and how I react and how I stand. And one of the biggest things was the physicality of it and remembering like, okay, well, Leah's a fighter. And like, typically if you're thinking the girl, you're thinking that's the one who's going to be standing up straight and the guy is going to be the one that's more relaxed. But this one was reversed just because he was tight businessman, and Leah was the fighter. And so it's just figuring out how people see the world and how, each person like holds themselves helped with that one. Oh, that one was just a blast because the boys they're just big goofballs, all of them, like just as actors, like Tate, Mark, and Mark, like they're just goobers. And so it was just so fun and funny to just watch them be insane. And it was honestly even funnier for me to then just sit there and be like, what is that? What are you doing? And a lot of the things that they would do were just off the cuff and were their own brains and were not in the script. And that one was fun because it was just, they knew we were making a comedy, so they let us have fun with it, which was really nice. Honestly, it was rehearsals. I'm cracking up the whole time. I'm pretty good about once I'm in character, I'm like, okay, every once in a while I'll break, but usually once I'm in it, I'm like, got it. I get my giggles out in rehearsals. But the first time he would walk in his outfits, a lot of times, I would be like, Mark, what is that? And it was amazing. And he just owned it every time. And he was like, what? I look good. What do you mean? So I don't know. They love me getting thrown. They love me getting picked up. They love me getting pushed. Yeah, it's honestly the biggest thing is sometimes if they get picked up a little aggressively, you just get the wind knocked out of you a little bit. Cause their shoulders, and these are like these guys, they all have pretty big shoulders, and it's just getting you right in the stomach. That's the biggest thing. And then I just get used to it. It's now also gotten to the point my characters are clumsy all the time. I'm always falling. So I don't even think about it anymore. I'm like, well, if you're cast as the male lead, you better be able to catch me. So I just full send it now. Most of them are around like 6'1" to 6'3", I would say. 6 foot to 6'3", I would say. Like I know Mark is 6'3", Seth is 6'2". I'm trying to think of Casey Esser is like 6'4".
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of they're all taller. It's a lot of stretching. A lot of prepare. No, there are times where we'll be having to stand on our marks and they're lighting us and everything. So they need us like looking at each other for eye lines. And I'll have to be like, okay, I just need a second. Let me look down. Okay, I'm back. I'm ready. There are times that I'm like, I can't do this all the time. But a lot of times they put me in heels too, which helps. Yeah. But it has a mind of its own. Talk about one that's hard to keep a straight face acting to. That one was tough. And especially because we were already pretty good friends at that point. And so acting when it's somebody that you know as a human being and they walk out in something insane, you're like, what is this? Like, this is not you. What? But yeah, that one was crazy. I didn't recognize him. When he first walked out in the beard, I think I like almost went and introduced myself to him, just being like, oh, new person on set. And I was like, But I think it's like it's a thing at this point, you know? Like it's kind of like having the beard be bad is almost like it's part of the charm. Yeah, well, I mean, I know in myself personally, I love like jewel tones. I love blues and pinks and purples and greens, personally. But a lot of vertical series and companies don't like that on their lead. They like muted, and which for me, I don't feel that I look the best in like beige and like kind of my skin color tones. But for some reason they like that, and it's fine, but it's usually like when I'm supposed to be the poor, like drab girl, they'll put me in kind of things that aren't the most complimentary for my skin tone, or, you know, if it's comfortable, hey, I'm in it for 12 hours. Why not? I mean, usually there's one or two in every show that I really liked, but again, I really like the, like, anytime I get to wear something athletic, like athleisure wear, like, I mean, like the Muay Thai one, I loved that little Muay Thai outfit I got to wear. I got to wear like the actual shorts for it. All the tennis outfits I got to wear. I just did one that's not out yet, but they put me in this beautiful, for one of the gala scenes, they put me in this gorgeous blue dress that was like, it literally, I felt like it was made for me. Like it fit me so perfectly, and it was beautiful. And I think it's coming out in like September, October, something like that. But so I think I'd be friends with Caro. I think I'd be friends with her. I feel like she's very grounded. She's very secretive though, so maybe, I don't know about best friends with. Gotta think about every role that I've done now. I think, yeah, honestly, probably Caro would be who I'm closest with. And also, she's kind of who I use myself, I think, most for.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
That's quite interesting.
Really, I would really love Brooke. I like that she was kind of cutesy and like, I'm gonna stand up for myself and kind of just lived life. I think I'd be friends with her too. Mr. T, yes. Well, and also that was another one. Originally, the title for that was Back to Me, which makes a little bit more sense. And then it came out, and it was Escape with Boss's Baby, not My Boss's Baby. That was so much fun, and that day we had like maybe an hour to film the like flashback scenes and get the pictures of me with Dr. Quentin and everything. And I came back from hair and makeup, and the director was like, not ugly enough, not ugly enough. And so I had to get sent back, and then came back. And then she was like, no, not enough, not enough. And it was like 4 rounds of teasing my hair and figuring out how to make me look a little crazy, but also like in a vertical way, like not like
too
super
crazy.
Bad.
Yeah.
So it was that fine line of doing that. And yeah, it was a really fun one. And again, I liked because it was a little different. It wasn't since Breaking the Ice, I got kind of pinned into the storyline and the character of the single mom and that kind of story. And I just got kind of pigeonholed into that a little bit, where those were kind of the only offers coming in. So I was like, well, yeah, I'll do that again. Why not? So that one was also nice. It kind of broke it up a little bit for me, where I got to do more of a revenge thing and just play with something a little different, which was really nice. And it's nice because it was like not painting all women as being just like needing help and needing to be saved and being a little dumb and needing a man's brain. And like those moments are cute and romantic in a lot of them, but it was nice to then be like, no, I don't need to. I'm going to play somebody who doesn't need a man. Dog's name was Moma. That was the dog's actual name in real life. She was amazing. It was so, and like they do say, kids and pets are the hardest to work with. Kids and animals are the hardest to work with. I had a great time, and like animals are a little tougher because they can't tell you when they're getting tired, or they can't, so it's sometimes you can just kind of sense that the dog doesn't want to listen anymore and just wants to go home, or just wants, and that it also hurts your heart when you're like, okay, we need to get this shot done because this poor baby needs to get out of here, needs to take a nap. But I just think we were really lucky with Moma because she was just really good and very well trained. So I love animals with my whole heart. There was one scene where all of the boys brought in little different animals. So that day was awesome for me because we just got to there was like a bunny, and it was the best. But yeah, I had a great time working with them. We had no problems. Really, it's the same as any other person. where it's just you get to, for me at least, my biggest thing is I really try to get to know the child. The first time I'm on set with them, I try to figure out like, okay, what are they into? What do they like to do? What is their like active level? Because I always try to meet my kids on like if there's somebody who needs to be jumping in between every scene so that they can stay still in the scene, you bet I'll be jumping with them in between every scene, and we're gonna make sure that by the time we're ready, the jitters are out and they're ready to go. But then there are some kids who like to just sit and want to be just like cuddled and hugged and like kind of like that in between scenes. So I just try to figure out who they are, and I also, it's important to me to get to know their actual parent on set. So I always try to like, because one of their parents is usually there with them. So I usually try to speak to them too and just figure out just kind of who they are as people, and then yeah, just react like that. My kids have taught me so much lingo on set.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, what does this mean? Oh, what's the new slang? Oh, never heard that before. And they keep me in the know. It is a lot. It's the most, honestly, a lot of people think that that's something that would go to your head, but it's honestly the most humbling thing, because it's that moment of being like, oh, people are watching me. People know who I am, and now it matters what I do, and it matters like, you know, like, and a lot of people who have reached out to me have been women in high school, and like just talking to me about how that's helped them through little social things that they've gone through. And so then it's important to me that I'm like, okay, well, I need to make sure that, one, they know a lot of these men are not who they should be looking up to. Some of the characters in these are not the guys they should be going for. Two, like just those things of like, it's important to like be honest about who I am and just try to be a good example. So that's been very humbling in that sense. But it's been helpful because I did get so close to Seth. Like, he did become one of my best friends. And I think part of the reason we got close was because we both kind of went through that together at the same time. So it's been nice to have another person who does understand like exactly, because and we just kind of like did it together. And it's honestly, I think it's a little more intense for the men in this space, just because that's a lot of times who's more recognizable, and who people, you know, are there. That's the whole fun of it. They're always looking for the men in the romance. So I get recognized more if I'm hanging out with him. Like, we'll be out like just grabbing coffee or something, and people will usually recognize him, and then they'll look at me and be like, oh, you too. I get called Caro and Victoria all the time. We never get to work together. Like, Kira Wisely and I have been trying to work together for so long, and nobody will get, I mean, because we usually play the same role, but nobody will like give us a sister comedy. Give us a little sister thing. Give us a love interest of each other. But I understand they think we look too similar. We're both blonde. So I get that, of the love interest. But we've been I want to work with the girls so bad. I want to do some like female empowerment, strong women, ensemble cast show so bad with my girls, because they're all amazing. I don't personally have not met somebody in this space that I do not genuinely enjoy as a human being. And it's been the most amazing, magical thing. And we try to hang out with each other when we can. But again, our schedules are insane. So it's whenever somebody's available, we try to keep in touch and actually meet each other. But it's the best thing. The best thing about this space is how supportive the women are. I love it. I love those girls. One very female-centered like group, one very male-centered group. Make it two separate verticals, but our characters like intermingle in the others. So, I mean, I was a producer before I was an actor, so I do have that part of myself. But my issue is I am not an organized person. I am not somebody who likes to necessarily be in charge of other people. I hate having to micromanage people. I hate having to tell people what to do. I like showing up, doing my job, and having fun with it. So I will produce, especially if it's something I'm passionate about, but I don't see myself jumping there just because. Actually, Seth and I are writing a vertical together. So hopefully that'll come out. And it's just a matter of we want We want something that's like showcases our actual abilities as people. So I'm kind of hoping to bring in like my dance background element for it and be able to use just a little bit of like our skills and who we are. I would love to do a golf one. And yeah, and Seth plays golf all the time. So maybe we add that in there. We'll see. But yeah, it'd be so cute. It'd be very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, outdoors. You said you like being outdoors. I feel like, yeah, we need the golf vertical. So.
Yes. I know. Maybe. Well, I'll pitch that one over and see if we can get that going, because that would be so fun. I would love that. And it fits with like the sports theme.
Yeah,
we could do it. Awesome. I mean, they're saving the day constantly, and they are working so hard, 24/7. Especially in verticals, because things are getting thrown on you, or you're getting shoved into pools, and you're having to get stains out of things, and having duplicates, and making sure this scene that we're shooting 3 days later, but I'm just getting out of a pool, my hair has to be perfectly damp, or they work so hard. They deserve so much more credit, and the editors, because a lot of people can't tell like when there's a good edit of something versus a bad edit of something. And it really does make the world of difference, having somebody who can like edit something seamlessly together, and people just know like, oh, I stayed interested in this, interesting, or whoa, I feel weird about it. A lot of times it comes down to editing, and I think that that's a big group of people who does not get enough attention. Honestly, for me, the biggest thing memory's never really been an issue for me, but I think it's because the way I look at it, I don't look at it as trying to memorize. I just look at it as I'm working on a scene, and I go in just going, okay, what is this about? What do I want to say? And then it just kind of makes sense from there. Like whatever somebody says to me, as long as I know my intention in the scene and what I'm trying to say and the point of the scene in the entire narrative, and like just from a writer's perspective, like what's the point of this? What do I need to do? What's my character want to say? It just kind of comes from there. And as long as you can like make the scope of the scene make sense, what you say it comes out. Like it feels right. Number one, I think it was one of my most fun projects I've ever done. It was the most amazing thing. And it was one of those things where I was filming another project, and a week before I left for Italy, I got the call that, oh, you're going. Like, this is happening. You're going to Italy. Let's go. A week later, I'm on a plane. I wrapped a show at like midnight. I'm on a plane to Italy at 6 a.m. So I had like 3 hours of sleep going directly from one show on a plane on that like 12-hour flight or something like that. I'm learning my lines and memorizing the script for the next show, and then show up in Italy. The director owns this property there, and it's used to be a mill. I call it a castle. He's like, it's not a castle. It was a mill. It was a castle that we were living in, and got to film there. And we would wake up just in this countryside of Italy, and the cast that was there was just amazing, and just, again, good human beings, good people to be traveling across the world with. And we all were it was really a passion project for a lot of us. And it's going to be very, very different from other verticals is, I think all I can really say about what it is. But all of it was so, I mean, any pasta we had, there was one, I don't even remember what it was called. There was this one like spicy arrabbiata pasta, and I don't remember specifically what it was. I think it's like manchetti, something like that. Yeah. Delicious. So good. And then one of my favorite things when I'm there is getting melon and prosciutto. And so Molly Anderson and it was a mission for us to go find some really, really good melon and prosciutto. And we did. And it was amazing.
Oh.
In vertical space or just in general?
In general. And also
Rachel
Dead or Alive
is literally one of my favorite actresses of all time. And you've compared me to her before.
I think you're really similar. Yeah.
That's like the best compliment in the world. That is like, I mean, her career is one of the things, is something I love. She's done a lot of rom-coms. She's done serious roles, funny roles. I respect her so much. She's one of my favorites. Meryl Streep, of course, but that's a given. Margot Robbie, I think, is incredible and amazing. Viola Davis is also such a powerhouse. I watch and study her work quite a bit. Yeah, I feel like those are probably my biggest people that I'm actively looking at and trying to. Oh, Florence Pugh too, in trying to kind of emulate and see how they've. And I'm like, I could learn. I only because I just watched The Notebook recently. I would say I love her Rachel McAdams' performance in The Notebook. I think it stands out to me because I see her hit every emotion possible and hit from being cutesy to watching somebody grow up, and yeah, and like going to deep like despair and grief and love, and so and those are my favorite kinds of roles. I love when you get to watch a character just go through everything and like get to experience every part of being a human and humanity, and I love that. I love that so much. And another one that not an actress, but a performance that I really love is Timothée Chalamet in Beautiful Boy. I don't know if you've seen that. It's heart-wrenching. Okay. It is. If you watch it, be so right. It is the most heart-wrenching thing I've ever seen. But his performance in it, he plays a drug addict, and it's just like watching somebody go from like happy-go-lucky, like teenage person to this like insane, life-altering path. So anything that has to do with like change and a big emotional shift, I always respect that a lot. I'm taking Celsius with me because it's in my blood. It's part of who I am at this point. I'm taking my Celsius. I'm taking. I haven't thought about this question in a long time. I'm probably taking a book from the Court of Thorns and Roses series because I love or my box set of A Court of Thorns and Roses as something to do. And then I'm taking sunscreen because I put that on every day and it's my lifesaver every day.